Hello ladies and gents, welcome to another repair video. Today we're going to be looking at this PlayStation 5 which has just been sent in. And this console has been sent in because it's got a broken USB port on the back for the second time in a year. So some of you long-term viewers may remember this one. This one was sent to me around about March last year and I replaced the USB port on the back of the board. I got a call a couple of days ago from the owner and she said that her dear old children has done it again. They've broken the USB port again. Now obviously this isn't a warranty job. If it was within the first 3 months I might have been a little bit sympathetic, but it's been almost 12 months and unfortunately I can't cover this under warranty. So it's back in for a second time in less than 12 months for another USB port replacement. Now I will say that this isn't the fault of the USB ports, they are not known to be weak. This is the only console I have ever seen with a broken USB port. So yeah, I did get a message off the lady's son and he said, is there anything I can do to be able to make it stronger? And unfortunately not. A USB port is a USB port, and if you take a look at how it's been broken, you'll see that the entire middle plastic has been completely ripped out, so something has been stuck inside there which shouldn't have been. And unfortunately that's just the way it goes when you try and use a port as a letterbox. So not to make fun of anyone, I don't, no intention to make fun of anyone. I like to have a laugh on the videos, but yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. And that being said, this is still a job and this is still a repair that we're hoping to be able to fix. Hopefully it's not caused any further damage to the USB controller. So with that being said, we are going to get into the video, but if you are new to the channel and you like this type of content, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and turn on bell notifications. That way you don't miss any future videos. And if you enjoy this type of content and you find some use out of it and you want to support me, then there'll be a link to my Twitch channel in the video description. You can head over there, and if you've got an Amazon Prime account, then what you can do is you can become a Twitch Prime subscriber, which is absolutely free for you guys to do, but it does help me out. It gives me around about $2.50 a month, and it really helps me with the channel. Helps me to buy new cameras. I've unfortunately got to buy a new microscope camera. At the minute, I've jerry-rigged a camera onto my microscope, so yeah, I've got to buy a new camera. So if you feel sorry for me, then head over to Twitch and subscribe. And you can also become a Patreon supporter using the link in the video description, a channel member using the join button down below the video, or you can donate directly by clicking on the PayPal link in the video description. So with all of that shilling out of the way, let's get into the repair. Okay, so my microphone's a bit dead, so I've got a cable trailing here while I'm charging my microphone and using it at the same time. But I have said that I'll get this done as a little bit of a priority just to try and get it back to the customer as quick as I can. So I want to make this video now because who doesn't like making YouTube money? But with that being said, let's just take a look at this. So if we take a look at the back here, we can see the damage without the need for any kind of microscope or anything like that. So this is the port here, and this is what it's supposed to look like. You can buy these ports off AliExpress. I haven't got any in stock at the minute, but I do have some ports on a donor board which I can use. And I can pull that port from there, and I can pop it onto there and get this thing fixed. So just zooming in here, you can see clearly that the plastic has been completely snapped, and it's supposed to have this support plastic in the middle, but obviously that's been pushed completely down, and yeah, it's kind of beyond hope for that port right now. Hopefully, I mean, I can't see too much damage inside there in terms of the actual pins, so hopefully, fingers crossed, it doesn't do too much damage inside. Hopefully it hasn't blown the controller and things like that. Not the end of the world if I have, but it would be more money for the customer. So we're going to get this replaced, and hopefully this console will work again afterwards. So while I'm taking this apart, I'm not going to turn it on because that would be rather foolish. I don't know if the customer's tried to turn it on, but whenever I see a damaged port like this, I do not turn it on. The reason for that is I don't know what damage it could potentially cause when it powers on. And if the customer's turned it on, then fine, but I just don't turn it on until I know 100% that it's safe to do so. So I'll get this disassembled before I go any further. So while I'm doing this, I want to shill a couple of channels. So the first channel I want to shill is Kiki from Kiki's Hobby Repairs. Now Kiki is a long-term viewer and a top-tier supporter of the channel. I really appreciate Kiki's support, and Kiki's also got a YouTube channel where he repairs consoles. So I highly recommend checking him out. He's pretty good at what he does. I like watching his videos. I don't get to comment much on his videos, but I don't really get the time, to be honest. So But yeah, I do watch his videos and I do enjoy them, and I think you would as well, so highly recommend checking him out. And the second person that I want to shill is Micro Mage Repair. Micro's been working really hard lately. Josh, his name is, so go say hi. Ooh, that's a bit dirty. So, Micro Mage Repair is primarily, he works on Nintendo Switches, but he does other stuff as well. He does Xboxes, laptops, that sort of stuff, MacBooks and all of that. I'm assuming that is some sort of dog hair. Keep your dogs away from your consoles. So, Micro Mage Repair has been working really hard lately to grow his channel, posting videos every couple of days. And I think you'll really like his stuff. I highly recommend checking him out. I'll leave a link to both those channels in the video description. There's some other channels in the video description as well. So I highly recommend checking those guys out. And yeah, go say hi. Go tell them that the code has said hi. If you could, I would appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to get this taken apart and I'll fast forward through this bit because, you know, it's boring. If you do need to see a disassembly guide, then I highly recommend checking out iFixit's guide. It's very detailed and very handy. But I'll fast forward through this and I'll pick up the video when I'm ready. Okay, so I'm pretty much in here now. I'm slightly concerned about this one. I'm going to be honest. I am slightly concerned, and the reason is I'm seeing a lot of burn marks around here. I'm seeing burn marks here. Now, let's get one thing straight. These burn marks are not from the Pro Repair, unless someone else has been in here. They are not from the Pro Repair, because when I worked on it, you can see the shiny solder here. I'll zoom in on that in a minute. When I worked on this, now obviously I worked on it here. I didn't work on it here, here, or around here. And there are definitely burn marks there, as in it looks brown. You know, the board shouldn't look this colour. So the light is really not going to do this justice, but you can still see dark spots around here. So we've got a dark spot here, so if you pay close attention there, you can see it. We've also got a dark spot around here, around what I think is something to do with power management for the CPU. I don't know what this is, or rather the APU. I better say it properly, otherwise I'll get trolled in the chat. I am slightly concerned about this console, about the longevity of it, to be honest, because, you know, I don't know how long it's going to last. That's the problem. But, I mean, I can inspect it when I flip the board around in a minute, but I am concerned about this board. So, you know, obviously, if I inspect it and I see anything really bad, then I'll address my concerns with the customer. But, you know, I mean, this is long out of warranty. Long out of warranty. They're not going to be able to send this back. And I know what some people are thinking, well, you've worked on it before, so it's out of warranty anyway. Well, that's not true. As long as I don't do anything to destroy it. But look at this. Surely this has got to come across on camera. All this heat here, yeah, that's not good for the console. Does not look good for the console at all. That has had some, what I would like to say, significant overheating, to be honest. Significant overheating. And it's not even like it's around the APU mainly. Well, I mean, there's a big brown spot here, there's a big dark spot here. But, I mean, you've got it there, you've got it there. That's not around the APU or the RAM or anything that should ever get hot, really. So, yeah, I'm pretty concerned about this console. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, that's coming across now. Look at it. Look at it. All around here in a big circle on the outside of the APU. That is incredible that this even turns on. So obviously, as you can see here, there's more than enough liquid metal on that. It's nothing to do with that. These caps around here have got super hot. I've got a feeling I'm going to get this coming back within a couple of weeks. To be honest, that shouldn't have got that hot at all. It should not have got that hot. That has had some significant heat. You know, for this board to discolour so much in 12 months, less than 12 months even. It wasn't like this last time. I would have addressed these concerns to the customer. I would have remembered this one. Yeah, that's concerning. Not gonna lie, that's concerning. Now, is it down to overheating because of dog hair? Because there's a lot of dog hair on this console. You know, I mean, that's all going to need to be stripped down. I mean, you'll see that later on. That's all going to need to be stripped down, to be honest. But we'll get to that later on. For now, I'm going to focus on the repairing hand, which is going to be the board. So, as you can see, we've got the ports here, and one of these is very visibly damaged. You'll be able to see it better when I zoom in here now. So yeah, there you go. You can see that is very visibly damaged, and that's not even the port that I replaced actually. It's a completely different port. This is the port I replaced. Still standing strong. Still standing strong. This one is going to need replacing though. Okay, well, we can only do what we can do, right? But you can see that now as well, you know, from that angle, you can see all of that discoloration on the board around the outer perimeter of the APU. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just basically hang this board over the edge of the table, and I need to remove this port from the board. So I'll do that under the microscope. Okay, so you can see here that I've got my port here, nice and shiny joints. And then next to it we've got the dull joint, which is basically lead-free solder. Lead-free solder is always a little bit duller than leaded solder. So what I need to do is I need to heat this up, and I'm going to go 480 degrees Celsius at 60% airflow. I was going to say 50, but I'll go 60. The reason I'll go so high is because this is basically, well, it's a USB port, and it's going to suck up a lot of heat. There's a big ground plane around it, and that's going to take away a lot of the heat. So what I'm going to do before I do that is just replace that solder with some leaded solder, and that should lower the melting temperature a little bit. So I'll start off by adding some flux across the pins. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the soldering iron, and I'm going to replace that solder just by mixing leaded solder with it. That should lower the melting temperature a little bit and allow me to get this port off easier. Okay, so I've got some leaded solder. I use some quite thick stuff for this. It's supposed to be Kester, but I bought it from eBay, so it's very doubtful it actually is Kester. It's still half decent stuff though. So I'm going to add a blob of solder to the iron, and I'm going to use some hot air to help me because I'm too lazy to change tips. Okay, I'm going to keep the heat on. So I'm at 480 at 60% airflow. And there we go, did you see that port just drop out? And I'm going to continue to keep the heat on this. I'm going to suck up these ground holes. Three at a time, baby. Let's try and not knock that resistor. Sorry, it's a capacitor. Okay, I did have to take the heat away for a second because I needed to clean out the solder sucker. Okay, I'm actually going to heat up from underneath now so I can get to these other pins. Okay, that should do it. That should do it. Okay, I'm going to move this board out of the way for a minute. And I've got here a donor board. So this is basically what I'm going to use as a salvage port. It's obviously OEM standard, but I just don't have any in stock anyway. That's the reason for using a salvage port, but it's fine as long as I don't damage the port on the way. So I'll remove this using the same method. Okay, that was fairly straightforward to get out. Back to the board we're working on then. A couple of little random solder blobs, I'll clean them up later on. Actually, let's just try and get them out of the way now. No, I'll use the iron in a little while. That one's come off. Ah, that got it. That works. Okay, I'm going to grab this port now that it's cooled down a little. And I'm going to try and get this to go in. There's a couple of holes which are not quite molten, or rather which was not quite cleaned out. I'll let that settle. And then I'm going to flip the board around so I can do it from underneath and push down on the connector. And I'm basically heating up from underneath. You can see the hot air just off to the bottom corner. So I'm going to just heat this up. A little tip, don't let flux drop on your hand. Ow, that hurt. Alright, that's moving freely. Press down and hold on the port, move away the heat and move away. There we go. That should be good. And like I said, don't let flux drop on your hand. The heat was there for a second and it's already took skin. Literally a second and it took skin. That hurt, man. Daddy got a boo-boo. Alright, so that should be good there. So I'm going to add some more flux now. Try not to spill it on myself again. Okay, so there's some flux. And now that I'm not going to be wasting the solder, I'll use some Kester. So generally when I'm removing ports, I use my cheaper solder because Kester's pretty expensive. Okay. So what I'll do here is just add some solder to all of the pins, and then once I've added solder to all the pins, I'll use a little bit of hot air, and that will help the solder to push through the holes and make sure that we've got a nice contact all the way through, and that the port's not going to come off again. As you can see, the last time I did this job, the port is still standing. Okay, so I'm just flowing solder to all of these joints here. Okay, now I'm going to use some hot air on this, but not before adding a bit more flux. Okay, that should be good. So let's just clean this up and we'll see just how it looks. Let's see if it looks beautiful. If there's anything less, and we do it again. I'm just using isopropyl alcohol with a toothbrush. The reason I use a toothbrush here instead of a cotton swab is because it gets inside all of the little gaps. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to use some patented, copyright protected, rapid dry technology. Beautiful, mate. There you go. And don't those joints look pretty? Beautiful. compared to them ones. Beautiful as well. Job done. Nice and simple. Okay, there we go. That is absolutely beautiful. So, got a nice new port on there. 2 matching ports now, looking good as always. I better order some of them ports because I haven't got a lot. I've got 2 left, I believe. 2 left on donor boards, so I'll have to order some today. Because no doubt, when I post this video, I'm probably going to get at least 1 or 2 emails about them. Okay, there we go. Beautiful. That should stand the test of time. The keyword there is should. Alright, so I've just got to sort out the liquid metal, and then we can crack on with putting this back together and giving it a test. So I'll need to test both USB ports, make sure they both work, but we should be good. So I'm just going to add some liquid metal, then also suck up what's left. The good thing about liquid metal is you can reuse it. Okay, there's the liquid metal. Some fresh metal on there. Okay, so let's just spread this out. So we've got some on here as well. Although that's not actually needed on there. Okay, there we go. So I've just realised that I still need to clean this, so I'm going to pop this board here for a minute. And I'm going to get this cleaned up, so I've got to take it apart. And then I can crack on with getting it back together. Okay, a lot more dog hair there. Okay, couple of screws. Okay. So that part's not that bad. But then of course this side, yeah, that could explain the overheating. Okay, that's better. That's better. Okay, so it was at this point where I was putting the console back together that my audio died. The microphones died, and there's a problem on these microphones where the battery shows up as low no matter how charged it is, and I need to order a new battery for it. But basically the microphones died, but as you can see here, when I put it back together, unfortunately the console wouldn't turn on. Now obviously that's a big issue because I didn't test it before I actually took it apart. So I had to speak to the customer and get a little bit more information. Right, okay ladies and gents, something very strange in the neighbourhood. I've spoken to the customer this morning on the phone, had a rather lengthy conversation with him, and this is turning on now. So I spoke with the customer and basically explained that it wasn't turning on and I didn't know what the cause was, and I explained about the burnt marks on the board, things like that, and I really don't know what's going on here, but as you can see, it's turning on right now. That light is white, it's just the reflections of the metal plate. So if I just, there you go, you can see that. It's very, very strange. Let's just shut it down. I honestly don't understand it. It's really, really weird. Yeah, I'm really confused right now. I just turned it. Well, I just tried to turn it on just to see what was going on. But you know, I was going to try and diagnose a no power issue on this, and you know, it's working now. It's very, very odd. As you can see, it's turning on fine. Seems to be working fine. So, I mean, I guess all that's really left to do on this is just to test it and just see what goes on. So I'm going to put the TV on and we'll see what goes on with it. Yeah, there you go. It's actually displaying and turning on fine. Now, I'm going to have to keep this for a day or two. Not because I want to. I've got absolutely no interest in playing on this. but I need to test it, and I need to make sure that it's going to be working absolutely fine. So what I need to do now then is I need to just make sure that these USB ports are both going to work, make sure that there's no issues with the ports. I do need to, well, the customer's included an external hard drive which he wants me to check over for him as well to make sure that the cable's fine, because obviously the port's been damaged. And yeah, it's going to be a day or two before I actually know 100% whether this is working okay or not. So I'm going to plug in a USB cable. Hold up. What happened to my display? Have I got flux in my port? Yeah, I've got flux in my cable. Never mind. Yeah, flux in my cable, that's fine. Right, okay, so if I just point this camera down here. Is that going to charge? Wait, do that charge on them cables? I don't actually know. Probably not, actually. Stop flickering on and off. Screen keeps flickering on and off because I've got flux in my cable. It needs cleaning. So I'm going to have to sync the controller, and then I'm going to need to plug in a USB device just to confirm that it's working. Okay, so I've got an orange light on my controller there. Alright. So, yeah, wireless controllers are working. So I need to plug in a USB device. Let's just try an external drive. So I've got a light. I don't know where the light is. It's on one of these two sides. I've got a light on this external drive here. Okay, there we go. That's actually reading and blinking. It's out of focus a little bit there. USB drive's file system is unsupported. So it's actually recognising. Let me just show you that. A little bit awkward. HDCP is going to be enabled on this. So we'll go to settings, storage, USB extended storage. So Sony 240 gig, which is exactly what this is. Let's just unplug that and plug it into the other port. Is it going to recognise? It is lighting up as if we've got power. Oh, it's blinking. There we go. Okay. Sony 240 gig. And it's a little bit awkward to show you. But as you can see, that's it. So that's in that port now. So let's plug it into the other one. Sony 240 gig. Whoops. So let's just format as extended. It's 240 gig. It's got to be a minimum of 250. Alright. Well, I can't use this, but it is recognising it. It's reading data, and it's, you know, it seems to be working absolutely fine. So I'm assuming that this is working right now. Like I said, I'm going to need to continue testing this. I'm honestly not sure what the hell had gone on with this. I don't know why it wouldn't have turned on last night. I don't know what could have gone on with it. But here we are today, this morning. I mean, it's less than 12 hours. I was recording at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock this morning, and it wasn't working. It's now just past 10 AM. It's 10:29 AM, and it's working. So, you know, 9 hours later, and it seems to be turning on. I really don't know what's going on with this last night. I don't know if it was just an issue with my cables or my electrics. But then again, you know, everything else was working. It's all plugged into the same thing. So, yeah, I can't explain it at all. So, yeah, that pretty much concludes this video. The job that it came in for has been done, and it was successful. It is reading those USB ports now. You know, it's really weird how it wasn't turning on last night. I'm not sure why. I definitely pressed that power button several times, and it wasn't picking up the power button. All I've done is literally, I took it off the desk, I put it down on the floor by my chair, and I was going to take a look at it this morning after I spoke to the customer, which I've done, and now it seems to be turning on. So I'm going to phone the customer and tell him that it does seem to be turning on, but I need to keep it for a day or two just to keep an eye on it and see what's actually going on. But yeah, the job that it came in for, the USB ports, they appear to be reading data. They appear to be working absolutely fine. Obviously, it's going to get some more tests and stuff like that. I am going to give it an extended test, but other than that, the USB port replacement has been successful, and hopefully this console is going to work now. If it doesn't work, I'm not going to be editing this video for a couple of days. So, you know, I've got some more videos which I need to edit first. But if it doesn't work, then, you know, I'll just record another segment to the video and, you know, pick it up from there. But obviously, you know, if this video's ending now, then I guess it works. But yeah, very strange one, very strange circumstances around this, but you know, these were sent in for a broken USB port. That's been done, all working, after a little bit of weirdness, I guess. So by replacing the USB port with one from a donor board, seems to be working fine. So that's going to be for this video. Let me know what you think down in the comments down below. If you do enjoy this video, remember to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, remember to hit subscribe and turn on the bell notifications. That way you don't miss any future videos. And if you find any use from these videos and you want to support me, there'll be some donation links in the video description. There'll also be a Patreon link in the video description if you want to support me over there. Or you can head over to Twitch and become a Twitch Prime subscriber by linking Amazon Prime to Twitch. It's absolutely free for you to do, and it does help me out. You can also become a channel member by clicking on the join button below the video. And channel members and Twitch members and things like that, any support out of the channel gets early access to videos. So that's going to be for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye for now.